Welcome back, my fearless friend. I am Mr. Fearless, and today we are here on the BerryCraft server. And I want to ask you, how's your day been? My day has been great because I have plenty of time to work on this build and a couple of other ones. And speaking of this build, here on the BerryCraft server, we have the Berry Library, as you might have guessed. Now you may be asking, Mr. Fearless, when did you build this? Actually, Blue and I built this during the BerryCraft livestream day on Labor Day, where I streamed for the very first time ever, and for 3 hours, which was the longest of all the berries. Each of us had a 2-hour time slot, and I was at the end, so I had a little bit extra time to really get some work in on this build. And as you can imagine, Blue and I spent both of our live stream sections working entirely on this build, which was about 5 hours a time, really. And it really shows on the dedication we put into it. I mean, we spent a lot of time designing it, and a lot of time building it. And if you wanted to see that live stream, like I said, it was my very first one, I'm actually going to upload it to a Mr. Fearless live stream channel that I'll have linked up in the top right corner if everything goes well. And if you want to check out more streams like that, because I do plan to stream more often, I will also have my Twitch linked in the description below so you can come see when I'm live streaming. And if you're a part of the BerryCraft Discord, you will get notified when any berry goes live, automatically, which is absolutely perfect. And my Discord will also alert you if I go live, which is also a plus. Starting with the build here, if we take a look back at it, we can see that it has definitely has some Greek and Roman influences. We got this very triangular shaped roof with some columns holding it up, and a little center area for display. All we have there right now is a little bit of banner pattern, which I think is perfect. We also have 2 braziers on either side, and that is actually from when we had the podium here for the competition using the very first berry builds. We have some dark oak fences that go across like this. If you did not know, if you collect fence gates like this, and have them connected to a wall or a regular fence, and keep going out with those gates, they'll actually raise up like this, which is perfect for creating little tiny arches. If I don't get killed by a berry bush, I can show you the rest. And over here on this side, we have a more modern design, which is actually perfect because a lot of libraries have plenty of extensions added onto them over time. So we could say that this came in as the very first build back in the day, and then they extended it out to include more floor space for the library. This is actually the part that Blue worked on. He designed the windows and the layout on the inside, which we'll see in a moment here. You can actually see another window. This is actually the back side of the building, so we didn't do too much. There's probably not going to be much over here. We did put in this nice little bay window, and if we move back, you can see a little tiny clock up at the top there, which I think is just simple and perfect enough for this build. You can also see that since the live stream, I've textured up the sides of it, so we've mixed and matched a lot of the blocks, added a bunch of berry bushes and flowers, and plenty of grass all around here to really make it part of the build, and we brought the pathway over and up to the door. Speaking of the door, I think it's finally time to go in here and see the very first room, which I think is my favorite. We've got a lot of detail up in the ceiling, lots of little blocks everywhere to break up that very flat roof slope ceiling. And we also got plenty of spaces for books, a super secret second level that we'll talk about a little bit later with Foxy, and this nice little bay window where you can sit down, relax, read some books, and look over out on Berry Bay in the background. Like I said, we have plenty of spaces for books, so if any of the berries have some lore or have some comments that they want to share, just pick a podium and stick with it. In the second room, which unfortunately is not finished, I still have to work on the roof, we have this amazing floor pattern made by the bookshelves that Blue did. And normally in a library, they're very symmetrical, they're very straight, plenty of space, but that's because they want to store more books. And in Minecraft, you can't really store books in bookshelves, so we took the liberty of just creating a very asymmetrical, nice, pretty design here on the inside to really liven up the little room we have here. And unfortunately, I did that design a disservice because I did not take these up very high. You see, I really want to come up here, if I can climb this ladder and not fall off. Perfect. I want to come up here and make this a little bit more jagged and random. So we're going to take this up, make little humps and stuff like that. And I think that's really going to help complement this build. And as you can see, I actually have a loom in my hand, and that's because looms work great as a bookshelf that's empty, which I find absolutely perfect. And then we can just add the bookshelves all around it. As you can see, I'm just creating a nice little asymmetric design. And then we're going to come over here and do the exact same thing. We're going to come down here, move some of the carpets, and bring this up just a little bit taller, like this. Now we can't go too tall because the roof's right there. We can go up a bit, and I think here, I took it down a little bit lower actually, to add some more depth. Actually, I've been thinking about doing some little building tutorials. I'm not the best builder in the world, but I think it's always good to learn from someone who's still learning themselves. talk about what you could do to make your builds look better. And like what depth means and stuff like that. Because it's not always obvious what those things mean. Because the roof is so flat, we want to add some height wherever we can, so we're just going to take these up in nice little curved patterns. And really bring out the size of the build. And over here, this is actually really short for this wall. So we're just going to take the liberty of extending this up just a little bit taller. But like I said, we're still going to do it in a very asymmetrical way like this. And I think that is perfect. So you can see it's already done a lot for this build. Just made it look a little bit more full, a little bit more interesting. And we're going to do the same thing over on these ones. We're just going to take them up a little bit taller like this. And we're also going to lower this one by exactly 1 block, just like that. I think this place is a perfect place to use some more looms. So we're going to send this out like this. And then I think we're going to place a loom here. So if I look this way, it should work. Oops. Maybe I need to go back more. We just used looms as a great block to really vary up the bookshelves themselves, because they look like they're empty bookshelves. And we can go along here and every once in a while just replace one of them with a loom. As you can see, just adds a little bit of variation and texture to the build itself. Makes it look like there's some books missing, or maybe someone rented out the entire room. And with a little bit of variation, just like that, we can really make this build shine. And just like that, I think we've added quite a bit of character here to the interior of the build. And the last thing, the very last thing, or should I say, a very last, is to take care of the roof up here. Well, I should say the ceiling, it's not the roof. And that starts with ripping out this little section here and replacing that with dark oak. So we're just going to go along and line the entire upper area here with dark oak. We don't have a lot of room here, and the ceiling is very flat, so we're going to take advantage of all the space we have, and really bring down this ceiling so it integrates with the walls better. I think the first thing we're going to do is take care of some support beams, much like we have here and in the restricted section of the Berry Library. We have some beams that come across to support the ceiling. Even though the ceiling here is not quite as tall, and there's not as much space, I still want to bring that over here to really complement this room. Otherwise, the ceiling looks really, really bland, unfortunately. And if you're wondering why I included these cracked stone bricks here when I was showing this off, they're just to line up so I can know where I'm going to place the beams to hold up the ceiling. And after that's done, we can take them out of here, because they're kind of ugly. And with those beams in place, I think it's finally time to add one more beam. Probably move over that light right there. It seems a little bit too close to their side. So let's go up there and actually move this light over. That's a little bit too close to this one. So if we extend that over here, climb this maze, and replace it, we should be able to place it more in the middle. There's not really a middle here because it's even. That's okay, we can actually find a semi-middle right there. And that'll help keep this little area lit up here. Even though nothing's going to spawn, we still want it pretty bright. You know, in libraries you gotta read, and you can't read if everything's so dark. Seems we are having a little bit of lag here on BerryCraft, but that might be my connection to the server. And I think the last step is to take this beam and pull it across to the other side. Like I said, it's pretty even here, so I think we're going to change it up and use dark oak. Now we got to do a little bit of parkour. Now this is where I'll get on my parkour practice building. The very last thing we're going to need to do is to line this up with some slabs, just like this, all the way around here. And that, like I said, helps connect the ceiling to the walls. It also helps to frame up these beams we placed. It's also nice to add little stairs here and there to really help it feel like it's connecting to the beams themselves. And I think that's what we're going to do over here. As you can already see, I've started. We're going to put 2 little stairs on either side and put just 1 dark oak block like that. And I think that really adds a lot to the build. Just these little changes can add such a big, impactful feel to your build. And make it feel that much fancier when you're really not doing too much at all. And with those last few blocks placed, the entire Berry Library is finished. All that's left now is to actually add some books in. So if you know any berries who found any lore books, or berry facts, tell them to come on over to the library to drop them off and show them on display for all the berries to see. And with this weird cult thing going on, we're definitely going to need to consolidate all our information and really study this menace before it gets too bad. And with that, I think it's finally about time to start working on my next big project, which is a series of farms fully automated villager farm that I designed quite a while ago. Even though the designs really haven't stood up to the test of time, with newer, better, faster ones coming out, they're still really unique in the fact that they don't use villager sharing to function, which I have not seen another farm do in quite a while, especially since the latest up changes to the villagers. So that's the farm I'm going to build, and because it's so big and awkward, I think the perfect place to put them is underground, and Amazing and I have picked out the perfect spot for it. If we go over here and sneak down, let's see if we can. I know there's another way in here, but I prefer it this way. And look over to that wall, we can actually see the perfect place for another farm. He's got this chunk claimed for something, and these other chunks. But right there, right underneath the storage system's right side, is the perfect place for quite a large farm. So we're going to see if we can pillow over there, and I don't think we can use scaffolding. We're going to have to use regular blocks, because it is quite a fall. There's even slimes down there. That one fell and split into a bunch of other ones. Some amazing builds planned. No pun intended, or every pun intended, you can't tell which anymore. But I'm going to start my foray into the farming business by starting up a villager farm. Well, I successfully cleared out the area for our farm. As you can see, that's the tree farm right next door, and right here is going to be that villager farm. Like I said, it's going to be fully automatic, fully AFK, and that it's based off a design that I built a tutorial on. I'm actually watching it work on my other device, so I know it definitely works still. But I want to put it in the world and actually get some wheat, because we're going to need it. We have plans to make some large breeders and stuff like that. And while I'm getting that set up, I'm going to run a clip of Foxy and I earlier when we were discussing the new Berry Library.
Hey, Fearless. How's it going?
Hey, Foxy.
Looks like you're almost done. Is the library almost ready? Can we add some books to it now?
I think it is ready. The exterior still needs a little bit of work, and the interior still needs a little bit of work, but everything is fully functional. Do you want to come in for a tour?
Yeah.
Well, you've probably seen it from outside. I think you were here on stream day.
Yes.
Which you streamed on, so if you guys really like streams, you should go check out Foxy on her Twitch channel, because she's going to stream here every once in a while. I know I'm going to be streaming more regularly, too, so that's where we built the bulk of this build. Me and Blue did. But Foxy actually has some books that we want to put in here.
Yes, that's right. Well, the ones that we found together on our one of our episodes.
Yeah, one of the previous episodes.
Okay, you want me to go get them? Or
no, we can do a little tour first.
Okay, yeah, tour.
For the build, we wanted to build 2 different rooms.
Mhm.
one more like a church, because a lot of libraries were originally churches,
Mhm.
and another like a more modern library. And this area is the church area. It has a nice big bay window. It has a second story as well.
Mhm.
A nice vaulted ceiling.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
I really like
And-
how these little alcoves look with the sort of shape instead of just being square.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I designed the shape, and Blue actually brought in some, what are these called, looms,
Mhm.
and placed them in the place of some empty bookshelves, which I thought was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's true. Not too many, just a few, because not every single shelf is going to be completely packed. It looks good.
Yeah, we still have good books to put in here.
Mhm.
So that's why it's empty in some
Yeah,
places.
of course. Of course.
Blue had actually designed the floor print of this room.
Mhm.
We went for some crazy irregular bookshelves. A lot of libraries have very standardized bookshelves in rows, and that doesn't always look nice. It's kind of boring. So he went for this crazy shape.
Well, that's true. I mean, like some libraries, they're organized according to genre, and so like over here you might have some reference, and then back here you might have something more obscure. So yeah, I mean, like a lot of times the books are kind of organized by the amount in groups, so it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't all be uniform in exactly a certain proportion.
And as you can see, we have actually a lot of lecterns around here for books.
Mhm.
So,
Do you think all of these will be Barry books, or do you think some of them will be like comment library stuff?
we could do all sorts of different things here. We have plenty of space. We could even remove lecterns, like over here,
Mhm.
these little encloves, and replace them with chests for books, just like we have over here for the recipes.
Of course, yeah.
We got the very facts of berry recipes, so if you guys want to add those in the Discord or on YouTube, we can always put them in books and store them into the library directly.
Yeah, I'd love some more berry recipes.
So then at the end of the season, if we ever do like a world download for you guys, you can just come on and see where you have actually put in lore directly into the world.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Did we show you the upper level on the other side up here?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, let's go take a look up at the second floor, the center area. This is where the most lecterns are.
Mhm.
So really, you've got a big view of the area below.
Yeah, it looks very formal.
There used to be a little bridge right here to complement that one over there.
Yeah.
But I recently got rid of it because I like the idea of being able to see through the window from over here.
Yeah, the window's nice. I like that better.
Yeah.
This seems sort of like the restricted section of the library, like, where the most sacred books will be. So you really don't want to give like a whole lot of access to it anyway. You want to keep the traffic as light as possible.
Yeah, we might have to invest in some guards and some magic barriers. I wonder if the enchanters can do that for us.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I think it'd be cool if we could add comment library stuff to this too.
Oh, we could do that easily. There's plenty of room in the library. We have, as you can see, we put in quite a bit of lecterns. I think Blue made most of them. I placed them in after the stream because he had to go, so we didn't get them in. They all went to this.
Cool. No, that's good. That's good.
And this room is like an extension to the original library. So the original library is like a Greek or a Roman structure, which were often turned into churches, but also were often turned into libraries or other buildings after the fall of Rome. And this is like a modern extension to it. They wanted to expand the library size, so they added a bit of modern stuff to it. So that's why they look so different compared to each other.
I see. Wow, that's quite in-depth in the lore.
Yeah. Well, we're BerryCraft. The lore is serious around here. Very serious.
Very serious.
Yeah. So if you want to go get the books, we can pick out 2 locations for the books.
Okay, we have 1 and 3, and I thought I heard a rumor that number 2 was found, but I'm not sure. Super secret entrance.
So you said you wanted to build a comment library?
Yeah, I thought maybe that we could do a comment library where we talk about answer some of the questions from our viewers and that sort of thing.
It'd be a great way to engage with the chat and stuff.
Yeah. This redstone room is freaking me out. The doors keep opening and closing even when I'm not using it. It feels. Okay. Here we go. think that I was talking about changing this pathway to browns, but I think we need to make it paved, obviously, once we get it really going.
Yeah, we can make it paved. We could get brown concrete powder, coarse dirt, regular dirt, path blocks. We can move all this to the andesite and the cobblestone.
Well, I'm saying that we could do something with the grays, something different that looks intentional, not with gravel, but with blocks, kind of like what Zing did over in the shopping area.
Oh yeah, we could do something like that.
We could bring that
paved
over here.
Streets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we could do something.
But I mean, yeah, for now, while it's growing, I like the path, and we can put the different browns and stuff, and then once we decide to
industrialize.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask about building a post office too. I'd very much like to build one in this area. Maybe on the other side of the library. Yeah, like maybe over here?
Right here. That is actually perfect. There's nothing going on right now. Just a bit of my annoying scaffolding.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's fine. Well, yeah, because so like if we built the post office here next to the library, and then we could, I think that we could pull some of the design colors from your builds and maybe the Crusaders, so that there's more like some unification of because there's a lot of dark oak over here now. So if we bring something like acacia or
red nether brick.
Nether brick, yeah, something over to it. So if you don't mind, I'll build something creative whenever I have time, and if you wouldn't mind checking it out or making tweaks, suggestions, or whatever, I'd appreciate it.
Go ahead. I would love more builds in the spawn area. It really is coming to life now with the library and the spawn houses, especially we got the new team over here. The enchanters got their house up,
Yeah, and it's also I think they put it in a place where it kind of surprised me, but I really like that it sort of made it forces you to want to expand over here. It's almost thrown things off balance a little bit. It just really, it's like, okay, well now we need to get going with this other in order to bring the balance back. What I was thinking is that we could, down here on the first floor, do all of our comment library stuff. Yeah. And so like everybody can claim a lectern. Like I could just take this lectern and this will be my comment library section. I'll put a little sign up. And then anybody else that wants to grab a lectern can use it if they want. If they don't, they don't have to. And I won't take one of these ones in the central area. We could say that people that want a place that's real easy to find, whatever they. And then upstairs we can keep the lore.
I think it's a perfect idea.
Yeah. And then, because this area seems the most ceremonial. Like, if we find a really big, important book, that could go here. And then these are kind of in order also. So we could put Berry Book Lore number 1 here. And number 3 over here. And then that way it can help us keep them organized as we find the numbers.
I think that'd be absolutely perfect.
Cool.
Actually, how many lecturns do we have up here? 1, 2, 3. Oops, I just ripped off all the ones.
Sorry.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
14,
8,
15.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13 up here. I think we're missing
13?
1 here because of the door.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then we have the magic 14th one. This numbering system. So we could fit 13 books of lore here.
13 books of lore, yeah. But 14 seems like quite a few. And 13 seems cool. I'm glad we finally have a place for them. I was getting nervous that I was going to do something to accidentally lose them or something.
Yeah, now we have a place for all the berries to come and see. I just think it's going to be very important. I think these books should be read by all the berries.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, Blue has something, and James has mentioned something, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot more.
Yeah, they're starting to pop up everywhere.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I gotta run, but anyway, thanks for showing me around the library.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. I punched you.
It's okay. Sorry.
Thanks for hanging out and helping me get those books in.
It's no problem. It's no problem. It looks great. Good work.
And if you have any ideas for the post office, just let me know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. It'd be nice to have a way to make sure that we can leave messages and gifts or whatever for people, and know that people can find them without being told.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Hmm.
Well, I was able to finish several steps of the early part of the farm, but unfortunately, that's all the time I have for today. I hope you had a fantastic day today. If not, there's always tomorrow, and I'll see you then.